अच्छा, so esters हमने किया था last time और उसमें था कि esters is one of the favorite questions that comes on esters. So they're fruity, sweet-smelling, oily substances which are used mainly in food flavors and to make perfumes. Okay, so all your strawberry flavored ice creams, all your mango flavored ice creams, they have nothing to do with fruits. They're actually just esters, which are mixed with milk. Okay, so they're just food flavors. So this is what an ester functional group looks like. It's got a C double bond O bonded right next to an oxygen. Okay, so it's exactly this arrangement. And इस side पे it's in the middle of a chain. Okay, just like it's shown over here. तो esters बनते किस तरह थे? उसके लिए what you did was you took an alcohol and you reacted it with a carboxylic acid. And the conditions for that esterification, or also known as condensation reaction, is you need concentrated sulfuric acid plus reflux, and you end up forming an ester plus a water molecule. And you can break the ester. It's a reversible reaction. You can do the opposite as well. That is known as hydrolysis. You break down the ester back into a carboxylic acid and an alcohol molecule. And you do that by heating it with a dilute acid plus reflux and dilute alkali के साथ भी आप उसको heat कर सकते हो. So this is what I explained. This is how esters are going to be formed. You take an alcohol molecule, ethanol. It's got 2 carbon atoms and it's got an OH. And you react it with a carboxylic acid molecule, which is propanoic acid. The functional groups must be drawn right in front of each other. The carboxylic acid would lose its OH. The alcohol would lose its H. एक और बल्कि draw कर लेते हैं यहाँ पे right next to it. Okay, this one. Just a second. अच्छा, so 1 second. एक सेकंड, अपना बोर्ड रीलोड हो गया. अच्छा ठीक है, it's almost there. अच्छा, यहाँ पे फिर से बात करें कि I'm going to make how an ester would be formed. So I'm going to take some molecule of an alcohol. Let's take an alcohol is this molecule. It's got an OH somewhere. ठीक है, that's what an alcohol looks like. उसके साथ जो मर्जी है, ठीक है, we don't care. There are, this one will have 2 hydrogens. This one over here will have 3 hydrogens. This one will have 1 H, and this one will have 3 H's. So that's an alcohol. And I'm going to make a carboxylic acid molecule. Let's take an ethanoic acid molecule. Now, the only thing is that the carboxylic acid is double bond O and OH. So I'm going to draw it on the left side. ताकि both functional groups are facing each other. Okay, because they're the ones that are going to react. So इसके साथ there would be 3 H's. So I'm going to do the next step, which is that the carboxylic acid loses its OH, and the alcohol is the one that ends up giving up its H. तो ये दोनों बीच में से निकल जाते हैं. And what you're going to get is this thing. The 2 things are going to combine together to form water. तो इन दोनों को बीच में से हम निकाल देते हैं, because the OH and H, they got together and they ended up forming H2O. So you got a water molecule, which is which is formed. बल्कि उल्टा हो गया, तो इसको ऊपर की डायरेक्शन में कर लेंगे. So you got a water molecule that is formed, and these two are going to combine together, and they're going to link up. They're going to link up right in the middle, and they will form an ester link. The reaction actually is direction में हो रहा है, in this direction. So you had a carboxylic acid which reacted with an alcohol. इसका जो OH है and इसका जो carboxylic acid group है, acetyl bond OH. The two are going to react together. The OH and H would be lost. They're going to end up forming H2O molecules, and you'll get an ester link. So that's your ester functional group right over here. Okay, that's what your ester looks like. Okay, so you'll be asked to draw a lot of these esters. Let's do another one. Okay, take any random alcohol. I'm going to take any random alcohol. I'm going to try and do this. Okay, so let's draw. Alcohol क्या होता है? It's anything that has an OH group. That's 3 H's with this. I'll put one OH over here, and I'll put one OH over here. This one will have 2 H's. This one will have just 1 H. This one has 2 bonds already, so there would be 2 hydrogens with this. So this particular molecule has 2 OH groups. So let's react it with the carboxylic acid. Let's react it with the propanoic acid. Propanoic acid is this molecule. It's 3 carbon atoms. The double bond O, and you're going to have an OH. This one will have 2 H's. This one will have 3 H's. So that's a propanoic acid molecule, and this is the carboxylic acid functional group. So I've got this molecule. I've got this molecule, and I'm going to draw another one of these propanoic acid molecules right over here. कि कभी कभार क्या होता है कि एक molecule 2 esters बना रहा होता है. So I'm going to draw another carboxylic acid molecule right next to it. Again, it's a propanoic acid molecule. This one will have 2 H's. This one will have 3 H's. So here's another carboxylic acid. Another carboxylic acid molecule. So this is what is going to happen. It's going to form 2 esters. Okay, when you react them together, the carboxylic acid is the one that would lose its OH, and the alcohol is the one that's going to lose its H. Or दूसरी side पे भी यही होगा कि the carboxylic acid is the one that's going to lose its OH, and the alcohol is the one that's going to lose its H. तो अब दोनों को जोड़ देते हैं. The water molecules in between are going to escape. इसको नीचे draw करो. अच्छा, बीच में से ये OH and H, they're gone. They've ended up forming H2O molecules. अच्छा, इधर भी OH and H are lost, and they've ended up forming water molecules. और अब क्या करना है कि इन दोनों को आपस में जोड़ दो. ठीक है, this one will come and connect with this one, and this one will come and connect or join up with this one. ठीक है, so connect the two together. तो ये मैं इसको जोड़ देता हूँ, और I'll connect this. So I'll get 2 ester links now. One of them is this one over here, and the other one acetyl bond O and O, and this one is again acetyl bond O and O. So I'm getting 2 ester links. So this is the product that I'm going to get when I do esterification, when I react a carboxylic acid with a molecule that's an alcohol. Okay, so the OH and the OH on the carboxylic acid side, they're going to react, and they're going to end up forming an ester link. ये सारों को clear है? Saneem, is this clear? Nawal, Zainab, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
अच्छा, so just remember this thing, and remember the functional groups are the ones that need to face each other. So I'll do just one more, and this one is, let's say you have a propanoic acid, बल्कि propan 2 all कर लेते हैं. I have an OH here, and I'm going to react it with let's say methanoic acid. इसके H पूरे कर लो. There would be 3 H's. This one will have 1 H, and this one will have 3 H's. And I'll have another one ethanoic acid कर लेते हैं. So I've got 2 carbon atoms. This is a carboxylic acid, double bond O and OH. And this one will have 3 H's. अच्छा, इन दोनों का reaction. So remember this thing, the functional groups must face each other. तो ये जो carboxylic acid वाला आपका जो functional group है ना, it is going to react with this OH thing. ठीक है, तो bring them together. ठीक है, I'm going to take this, I'm going to drag it, and I'm going to bring them right next to each other. ठीक है, without breaking any bonds. I've just moved one of the molecules and brought it right next to each other. The OH would be lost from the carboxylic acid, and the H would be lost from the alcohol side. और दोनों को फिर जोड़ दो उस पॉइंट पे. ठीक है, बीच में से you remove, अच्छा बीच में से you remove the OH and H. Sorry, remove हो गया, एक second. The OH and the H. गलत वाले को remove कर दिया, एक second. Just a second. ठीक है, उस साइड पे. अच्छा, OH is gone and this H is gone, and you just link them. You link them together, and that's your ester link. You got a serial bond O right next to another O, so that is your ester link. अच्छा, और वापस अगर जाना है तो do the exact opposite. वापस अगर जाना है तो I'm going to pick these molecules, hydrolysis of esters, which is the breakdown of esters. So when you want to hydrolyze or go back, you heat it with a dilute acid or dilute alkali. अच्छा, heat with dilute acid or dilute alkali. So अगर वापस जाना है, I'm just going to pick the same molecule. इसको उठा लेते हैं. तो उसको वापस रिवर्स कर दो, तोड़ दो सारे को. तो if I pick this molecule, इस पे मैं ये सारे हटा देता हूँ. अच्छा, so this one. वापस अगर तोड़ना है तो जहां पे wherever you see the ester, you break the molecule into half at that particular point. ठीक है, just break it into half. Or once you have done that, इसको draw कर लो. This is 3 carbons and double bond O, and it's got 2 H's. अच्छा, और उस साइड को भी अच्छा, दोनों साइडों को ना वापस तोड़ दो exactly at that point and you bring in the H and OH back again. ठीक है, OH लगाना है इसके साथ. Where you see the double bond, turn it back into a carboxylic acid, turn this back into an alcohol. So that's exactly the reverse. ठीक है, dilute acid के साथ heat कर लो या reflux actually करना है. ठीक है, you go to reflux it and the molecule is going to break down into alcohol and carboxylic acid back again. Is this clear? Sadeem, Nawal, Minahil, Hamza, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So remember, you're going to get frequently. You're going to get this question. Okay, so just the same thing every time. Alcohol loses H, the carboxylic acid loses OH. बस उसको place इस तरह करना है कि the functional groups are right next to each other. So, I mean, this molecule and this molecule are exactly the same. Except कि उधर जाके उसको मैंने उल्टा करके draw किया. I had to draw it the other way around because the functional group had to face the alcohol. So I've just flipped it around. अब ये कि naming esters, ठीक है, that's the next challenge. And that is also frequently asked. उससे पहले ना I'll write a condensed version of what an ester would look like in the condensed version. Condensed version के अंदर you should be able to spot what an ester looks like. The first one is carbon with 3 H's, so it is CH3. ठीक है, उसके बाद अगर इधर कर लें, carbon is the next one is with 2 H's, so that's carbon with 2 H's. Then you have an O. Then you have a CO, C with an O. So then you have CH2, and then you have CH3. Okay, so that's a condensed version. So whenever you see a condensed version and you see this thing CO with an O, that means it's an ester. So it's going to be like there are a couple of ways. For example, if I write the condensed version of this molecule on top, so this molecule is starting with CH3, CH2, so that's CH3, CH2, then it's CO, followed by another oxygen. So you got oxygen आगे, and then it's CH2. CH2 के बाद you have CH, और फिर आगे उसके साथ bracket में ना there's a CH3 branch. So that is CH with CH3. Then you have CH2. So after this CH2, I think you have O and then CO. And after that, you have CH2 and CH3. So that's your condensed version. So either in the condensed version, an ester looks like this, or it might look like this, but both of them are the same thing. It's just you're reading it in the opposite direction. This one is CO comes first, and then an O. This one is O comes first, and then CO. तो वो left to right करो या right to left करो doesn't really matter, ठीक है? बस वो है कि उसको जब condense में लिखोगे ना तो you might get this. A lot of people even compress it further and they write it as CO2 in the middle, which is also kind of fine. So those are your condensed version of esters. तो अब ये कि esters को name किस तरह करना है? तो naming esters. So naming esters में है कि esters are named in two parts. So if I draw a random ester, so 3 H's with this, 2 H's with this one, 2 H's and 3 H's. So how do I name this thing? What do I call this? So what is done is कि आप क्या करते हो, दोनों साइड्स पे नंबर ऑफ कार्बन एटम्स काउंट करते हो. ठीक है, you had this ester link, and what you'll do is you'll divide that into two. I mean, break it into two parts, not literally, but those sides decide kar lo. One is on the right side of the ester, the other one is on the left side of the ester, and the middle part is your ester. तो यहाँ पे कितने लेफ्ट साइड पे there are 3 carbon atoms, right side पे there are 2 carbon atoms. So what do you call 3 carbon atoms? 3 carbon atoms is called prop. What do you call 2 carbon atoms? 2 carbon atoms are known as eth. So you've got a prop and you've got an eth. तो ये जो single O वाली side है ना, this is referred to as the while side. मतलब उसके end में while आ जाएगा. और ये जो double bond O वाली side है, that is known as the O8 side. So what you're going to do is, every time what you're going to do is number of carbon atoms पे prefix decide कर लो, और जो suffix होगा ना, that is going to be decided by the above. This one is going to be called while, and this one is going to be called O8. So the name of the molecule is going to be ethyl propanoate. Ethyl वाले को पहले लिखते हैं. So when you pronounce it, you call it ethyl because it's got an ethyl and it's got a propanoate. So that is how you name this. ठीक है, just remember, इस side पे number of carbon atoms count करो, और उस side पे number of carbon atoms count करो, और दोनों को count करने के बाद prefix decide कर लो. 2 carbon atoms, that's it. 3 carbon atoms, that's prop. ये जो single O वाली side, it's always going to be called while. So it's going to be ethyl or methyl or butyl or propyl. और ये वाली side जो है, that's always weight, so it's propanoate or methanoate or whatever. ठीक है. And when you name it, so जो order होता है, that is ethyl is written first, so it's going to be called ethyl propanoate. Is this clear? Hamza, is this clear? Nawal, is this clear? Zainab?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Achha, so some more practice about this, TK. We will do more esters and the same thing. So ester is serial bond O and O in the middle. कहाँ चला गया? एक से इसको. So let's do another example. So the other example is that you've got serial bond O and O. So this side where there's 1 carbon atom, and on this side I've got 2 carbon atoms. So 3 H's, and I've got 3 H's on this side as well. So isko name karna hai. So how would you do that? बीच में से ना उसको 2 parts पे divide कर दो. One side has 1 carbon atom, the other side has 2 carbon atoms. So based on that, the prefix starting name would be 1 carbon atom का नाम होता है meth, और जो आपका 2 carbon atom है उसका नाम होता है, it's called eth. और क्या मैंने बताया था कि single O वाली side is going to be known as, referred to as while. So this is going to be methyl. Double bond O वाली side is going to be referred to as O8. So that's going to be referred to as O8. तो अब जो नाम होगा, that would be methyl ethanoate. ठीक है, that's what the name is. You'll just correct the order. मिथाइल पहले लिखते हैं और एथेनोएट। ठीक है, that's the name of this molecule. एक और मैं molecule दे रहा हूँ, tell me what the name is. Remember meth as prop bute pent. ठीक है, ये वो counting है उसकी organic की. So I'm giving you a molecule to name. इसका 3 H है, this one has 2 H's. 2 H's. So वैसे wrong answers, right answers सारे welcome है, ठीक है? Try and name this molecule, ये जो मैंने बनाया अपनी screen के ऊपर. What's the name of this molecule? हाँ जी.
Butanoate ethyl.
सही है, लेकिन वो एथिल को पहले लिखेंगे ना, so it's ethyl butanoate.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
ठीक है. So this one
it's first the alcohol, then it's the carboxylic acid name.
हाँ मतलब जो भी है doesn't really matter कि उसको बस वो जो वाइल वाली साइड है ना, that's written first. ठीक है.
Okay.
मतलब अगर वो वैसे ब्रेक डाउन करके स्टेप वाइज लिखोगे तो you'll start off with this part, right? This one is but and O8, right? और वो part आप बाद में नेम करोगे क्योंकि that's 2 carbon atoms, so that's eth. And it's going to be vial, so it's ethyl. लेकिन जब लिखोगे ना तो it's going to be ethyl butanoate.
Okay, sir.
So that's ethyl butanoate. So it's not really that difficult. It's just that उस ester को दो में parts में and simple esters आएंगे. You're not going to get something like the ones that we drew. I mean, they're not going to ask you to name this or even maybe this. Complicated molecules are not part of your naming. Okay, you'll just get simple molecules, simple straightforward molecules. So this one is ethyl butanoate. एक और कर लेते हैं वैसे जल्दी से कि I've got अच्छा इसका बता दो what's the name of this molecule? So this one is ठीक है, exactly, it's 1 carbon atom, उधर भी 1 carbon atom है, so both sides is 1 carbon atom, so that's meth. This side is also meth. So methyl and methanoate. So both sides is meth. So this is going to be called methyl methanoate. अच्छा, then again इसको किसी और एंगल से देख लेते हैं. You hopefully everyone gets naming. Let's say they just give you a name and you're supposed to draw the structure. We've learned how to name this in 2 parts. So what if they give us something like this pentyl ethanoate? And they ask us to draw the molecule. So by simply looking at them, so how would you draw this? The first thing is by looking at it, you should know कि नाम से पता लग रहा है कि it's an ester. So draw the ester. It's serial bond O and O right in the middle of the chain, somewhere in the middle of the chain, right? अच्छा ये कौन सी साइड थी while वाली? That was the single O side. So one side has 5 carbon atoms, Eth is 2 carbon atoms. So one side has, तो इसके ना दो sides हैं. One side is going to have 5 carbon atoms. कौन सी side? अच्छा कौन सी side ये बता दो कि which of the side would have 5 carbon atoms? It's right side or left side?
Right.
Right होगी क्योंकि हमने पढ़ा था कि ये जो while होता है ना that is the side with the single O. ठीक है? मतलब actually right left नहीं, the side with the single O. ये उल्टा करके भी draw हो सकता था. So just remember the side with the single O, that's the one that's while, and it should have 5 carbon atoms. ठीक है? दूसरी साइड पे कितने होंगे? There's going to be 2 carbon atoms. तो एक तो पहले ही है. So that's your second carbon atom. Then you can fill in the hydrogens. So that's मतलब इसको इधर से divide करना था ना. So 2 carbon atoms on that side, और यहाँ पे fill in the hydrogens. So there would be 2 hydrogens. 2 hydrogens. And 3 hydrogens. तो ये आपके पास सारा का सारा बन गया मॉलिक्यूल. ठीक है? तो just remember कि a lot of questions are get asked about esters, और अब इसमें ना एक फाइनल जो पॉइंट है before we can sum this up, and that is कि हाइड्रोलिसिस की हम बात कर रहे थे यहाँ पे. अच्छा, I told you there's 2 types of hydrolysis. So one type is with a dilute acid. मतलब यहाँ पे हम वो जिसको breakdown की बात कर रहे थे. So one type is you heat it with a dilute acid, the other one is you heat it with a dilute alkali. So remember when the ester breaks down, वो बीच में जो double bond O और O है वो break down करता है, it turns into a carboxylic acid, this turns into an alcohol. A carboxylic acid is basically an acid. Although भी ये आखिरी रह गया थोड़ा सा, ये हमने नहीं किया, लेकिन a carboxylic acid is an acid. So carboxylic acid they tend to react with the alkali. To form salts. So alkaline hydrolysis has this problem. Okay, you're not going to get the carboxylic acid. What is going to happen is you're going to get a salt of the carboxylic acid, not the carboxylic acid. क्योंकि acid और alkali से reaction होता है. Dilute acid के साथ अगर इसको break down करना है, no issues. You're going to get exactly the same thing. But carboxylic acid, if you're doing alkaline hydrolysis or heating it with dilute alkali, it will break down. It will produce the same thing, but this thing would tend to react with the alkali to form a salt. तो ये जो है ना ये फौरन react कर जाएगा. Is this point clear? This last point?
Yes, sir.
तो अच्छा ये आपका सारा है. इसमें आप एक काम करो कि I'm going to give you questions. ये फौरन भी अगर मुझे भेज दो कि I've got draw these esters and name them as well. So I have etheric acid and I want to react it with butan-2-ol. मतलब butan-2-ol is basically butanol. 2 का मतलब है कि वो जो OH है ना, that's on the second carbon atom. ठीक है? So react methanol with propanoic acid. So ये दो है. What you're supposed to do is draw these 2 esters. ठीक है? Draw these esters and name these esters. ये मुझे अभी अगर भेज दो कोशिश करके, मतलब इन दोनों से जो एस्टर बनेगा वो मुझे भेजना है। कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है किसी का? इज दिस क्लियर? हमजा क्लियर है? नवाल सलीम इज दिस क्लियर? ज़ैनब क्लियर है? बस ठीक है, ये मुझे भेज दो, व्हाट्सएप कर दो। और फिर कल we just have रिमेंबर ये सारे नोट्स हम बाबा गो थ्रू करेंगे, विल डू पास पेपर्स आफ्टर दिस, ठीक है? तो उसके अंदर ये काफी ज्यादा इन सारी चीजों के रिवीजन करनी। वी हैव ऑल द नोट्स रेडी, बस बीच में अब आखिरी रह गया which is carboxylic acids and condensation polymers. So we'll be done with that hopefully within this week. फिर हम इसके पास में स्टार्ट कर देंगे, ठीक है? तो ओके एवरीवन, ये मुझे भेज दो जल्दी से। Let's continue tomorrow. Take care. Hafiz.